Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I want to talk about credit cards and why we completely quit credit cards and haven't used them for about like the last 6 to 7 years. So I want to talk a little bit about like our financial backstory with credit cards, our relationship to credit cards, and why we quit, and a little bit about how we quit, but that's probably going to be a different video for a different day. So if you are finding this video and you are starting your debt-free journey or just trying to quit using credit cards, or you're in a ton of credit card debt, I hope to help you. I am making these videos not because I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form about personal finance or finance in general. I think I say that every time, but because we were where you're at, I'm gonna share that with you. And we have gotten ourselves to a place that's much better and quit using credit cards. And sometimes whenever you are in that place where you're drowning in debt, it is scary and you think, nobody else is there with you or nobody understands what you're going through, and you don't talk about it. Nobody at my son's preschool pickup is talking about their personal finances. And so I hope for these videos to be motivating to you all that you can do it. And I hope that you understand that there are people that have been where you're at. So a little bit of backstory to our credit card situation is right out of high school, I went to college and I had a job. I always worked in high school. I loved earning money, but when I got in college, I started using credit cards. So I found that the money I was making wasn't covering all of the dinners out, concerts, and awesome clothing. And so I started signing up for credit cards. Now, when we were in college, I went into college in 2003. There would be like credit card tents all set up around campus. And they're like, oh, look, you can get this great credit card. And like, I would go and sign up and they'd be like, you have $1,000 credit limit. And I'm like, that's so awesome. $1,000 is so much money, because I made like $6,000 a year. So I don't know what in the world the credit card companies, were thinking, but they ended up making a lot of money off of me. And so I guess they knew what they were doing. And my husband went to the same university. He was a couple years older than me, and he was doing the same thing, working, but also using a lot of credit cards, getting a lot of credit cards, getting store credit cards. And before we knew it, we were pretty much getting our paycheck and paying our minimums on our credit cards, paying a couple things that at that time you couldn't pay on a credit card. We had, like, I was responsible for paying my cell phone bill, my car insurance, and, and then we would be spending on the credit cards. And we got married young. We were married when I was 20 and he was 23. And we brought into the marriage probably, I would say, around $10,000 in credit card debt, maybe a little bit less, and lots of student loans. We had gotten student loans. He had gotten student loans for all of his college. I had gotten it for most of mine, and I was still in college when we got married. So we continued this path. I wish that when we would have gotten married, we would have been like, nope, we're grown now. But my husband got what I would say, quote unquote, a real job. Before that, he was working at a YMCA, as was I. And, he got a labor position, not using his degree, and started making a paycheck that seemed like a lot of money to us. It was very little money, actually, but it seemed like a lot of money, and we just kept this going. And we were digging the hole deeper and deeper and not realizing that at one point we weren't going to be able to dig any further down, and it was just a snowball effect. We were getting so far into debt that it eventually became that we were trying to take cash advances to pay for things that we couldn't put on the credit card, but this credit card was maxed out and we couldn't get another one because we already had so many credit cards. And we never paid them off, and we paid why we quit? We quit using credit cards because we could not afford it. They were costing us money. We were paying so much interest on those things. I would sign up for a store credit card that saved me 50% off that day, but I ended up paying 200% on the item, like above cost of what I pay for the item, in interest and fees and late fees. Because once you start adding in interest, and if you're living on your credit cards, you're going to probably be late on them as well. And it's a slippery slope into a dark pit, but you can get out of it, because we did. But so we had to stop using them because they were costing us money. Another reason why we had to stop using them is it was allowing us to live far above our means. We were not putting extravagant vacations and, BMWs. You put a car on a credit card. I don't even know if you can put a car on a credit card, but we weren't putting massive amounts of furniture, things like that. This was day-to-day spending. These were clothing, shoes, and that type of thing. But it was still, we were using the credit cards to spend far above our means. And if you are carrying a credit card balance that you can't pay off at the end of the month, you are living above your means, and it stinks. And I know it stinks. And it's so hard to live within your means. But credit cards were allowing us, at least for many years, to live far above how we really should have been living, and far above our means. Another reason that we quit using the credit cards is that it was killing our financial future. So it was causing our credit score to just absolutely go down. Now, right after we got married, or I think it was a month after we got married, we had also bought a new car. My husband had bought a brand new car coming into college. I mean, these decisions that we are making are ones that we would never make today. I just bought a car, and it's a used car that I paid $11,000, and we're in a much better financial situation than when we were then. So it was killing our financial future, and it took us many, many, many years to get to a point where we are okay with our financial looking on paper, and some people say we love Dave Ramsey, and that we are not necessarily have the same financial goals as Dave Ramsey would want for us to have, my husband and I, and our family. And he does not believe that your credit score is worth anything. But we knew our financial situation and our vehicle situation and our our lifestyle situation. And we did not believe or think that we could probably pay cash for a house someday. So we needed to be able to have some type of good credit score, or good, look good on paper to a bank if we ever want to own a home. And so in the process of using credit cards and digging that hole, we were killing our financial future. So some ways that we quit the credit cards: we cut those babies up. We did not freeze them, because you can, in 8 minutes, you can thaw a block of ice and you can be at the mall spending on that credit card. We canceled our credit cards. We cut our credit cards up. At this point, we didn't know about Dave Ramsey, so I'm not sure exactly what he says about that. Our Dave Ramsey journey started later, after our initial, we are drowning, how are we ever going to afford anything? And we had our first son, and that's really, I think, what opened our eyes into our financial situation. We cut those credit cards up, just cut them up and quit using them. You can just completely quit using them. At that time, it wasn't super popular to have your credit card information saved on Amazon or those types of places. But if you are starting this today, delete. Just completely delete your Amazon account and get a completely new one. Don't use Amazon at all. If you are that much in debt, you probably don't need to be spending on Amazon. I'm so sorry, because I did not want to hear that either. But just completely delete all of those credit cards account. Delete your automatic bill pay on those credit cards. Just delete it. And it's not an easy thing to do. I remember I was giving to an orphanage through our church on one of my credit cards. That's a great thing to do, but I was putting it on a credit card. That wasn't the right way to go about it. So making those decisions are hard. Another thing that we did was we got real and got a budget. We had to really see what we could spend per month. And I'm going to do a video probably next week on making a zero-based budget. There's tons of them out there. If you want to go see. I do it a little bit differently than some people. We use like a little bit of a different system than like the Dave Ramsey system that's really popular, but get a budget. You need to live on a budget. You need to know what your means are so you can live within them. And then the third thing is make some radical changes. When we realized our financial situation was not going to change and we were digging deeper and deeper, and now we had a child, we became a one-car family, and that was hard. My husband sold his car. We took profit from that, some of it to live on and some of it to pay credit cards off because, and then, he also, got a second job for a while. He worked on a farm before he went to his job that he has now. I mean, he was working in a professional environment. He got a second job. He went and worked on a farm before his job, after his job, on weekends, and it was hard work. So we sold a car, we got a second job, and that kind of helped to dig us out. Now, if you want like more information on like how we did it, or the program, like we used a program that I necessarily wouldn't recommend to kind of get ourselves going on paying off our credit cards and things. It's a tough road, guys. And something else I want to tell you is do not tie your self-worth to a number on your bank statement or that number of how much debt you're in. I guess I can't say that you're in the same place there, but we knew that we had worth within Christ and our salvation. We needed to love others, love ourselves, love our children, take care of our family, and the kind of person that you are is where your worth lies, not in the number in your bank account, how much money you do or don't have, or how much debt you're in. So thank you guys so very much for watching. If you have any questions pertaining to credit cards, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to get back to you, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.